If you've been looking for a large 7-inch camera monitor, you've probably seen the NEEWER F700. It has been one of the company's most popular field monitors for quite some time, offering a bright display, touchscreen controls, and a very competitive price. Now NEEWER has introduced the new F700U, and at first glance, the two monitors look almost identical. The screen size is the same, the overall design is very familiar, and both are clearly aimed at filmmakers, content creators, and photographers who need a larger display than the one built into the camera. So the obvious question is simple. Is the new model actually better, or is it just a small refresh with a different name? In this video, I'm going to compare both versions side by side, explain what has changed, and help you decide which one makes more sense depending on your workflow. If you've already watched my previous review of the original F700, don't worry. This isn't another full review of the same monitor. Instead, we're focusing on the differences that matter. Both monitors come with a very complete accessory package. Inside the box, you get two NEEWER F750 batteries, which is a nice bonus because you're ready to start shooting immediately without buying extra power accessories. You also receive 3 different HDMI cables, including full-size HDMI, mini HDMI, and micro HDMI, making the monitor compatible with almost any modern camera straight out of the box. A USB Type-A to USB Type-C cable is also included for powering or updating the monitor, along with the standard monitor holder that mounts directly onto your camera's cold shoe. Overall, the presentation and the included accessories feel very complete, especially considering the price category these monitors compete in. Visually, the two monitors are extremely similar, but the biggest improvement is actually inside. The new F700U introduces several workflow enhancements that we'll look at throughout this video, including new monitoring tools, expanded connectivity options, and features designed to make shooting much more convenient in real production environments. So instead of looking only at specifications on paper, let's see whether those improvements actually make a difference when the monitor is mounted on a camera. Before we get to the monitors themselves, there's one accessory that deserves some attention because it can make a surprisingly big difference during everyday shooting. Both monitors include NEEWER's standard cold shoe monitor mount. It works exactly as expected. It's compact, lightweight, and perfectly fine for basic setups. But NEEWER also sent me their dedicated field monitor mount bracket, and after using both, this is definitely the one I would personally choose. The biggest advantage is flexibility. It gives you much more control over the monitor position, making it easier to find a comfortable viewing angle whether you're shooting handheld, on a tripod, or inside a camera cage. It also feels noticeably more solid. Once everything is tightened down, the monitor stays exactly where you place it, which is something you really appreciate during longer shooting sessions. If you're building a more professional camera rig, especially with accessories like microphones, wireless transmitters, or external recorders, a stronger monitor mount simply makes the entire setup feel more stable and more reliable. The standard holder is absolutely usable, and for many people, it will be enough. But if you regularly work with larger 7-inch monitors like these, I think the dedicated mount is a worthwhile upgrade. Now it's time to power the monitor. Both versions use standard Sony NPF series batteries, and NEEWER includes 2 NPF750 batteries right in the box. That's a great addition because a 7-inch display naturally consumes more power than a smaller monitor, and having a spare battery means you can keep shooting instead of waiting for a recharge. For longer production days, that extra battery is something you'll definitely appreciate. Let's move on to the new F700U. At first glance, the unboxing experience is almost identical to the original model. You get the same generous accessory package, including 2 batteries, multiple HDMI cables for different cameras, the USB cable, and the standard monitor mount. That's actually good news because the original package was already very complete. Everything you need to get started is included, whether you're using a mirrorless camera, a DSLR, or a cinema camera. From the outside, the F700U also looks very familiar, but don't let that fool you. Most of the important upgrades are inside the monitor itself. NEEWER focused on improving functionality rather than completely redesigning the hardware. And that's exactly what we'll be exploring in the next part of this review, where the real differences between these two models start to become obvious. Now, let's take a closer look at both monitors side by side. At first glance, they look almost identical. The overall design, the button layout, and the 7-inch form factor are very familiar, so it's easy to assume that these are basically the same monitor with a different name. But once you start comparing them more closely, the differences become much more interesting. The original F700 was designed primarily around HDMI connectivity, making it an excellent companion for mirrorless cameras, DSLRs, and hybrid video creators. The new F700U keeps full HDMI support, but also adds Professional 3 GSDI input and loop output. That immediately makes it a much more versatile monitor for filmmakers working with cinema cameras, broadcast equipment, live production systems, or more advanced video rigs. Even if you're not using SDI today, it's a feature that makes the monitor much more future-proof. As your equipment grows, the monitor can grow with it instead of becoming the first thing you need to replace. Another major difference is the display technology itself. The original F700 features an extremely bright 2000 nit IPS display, while the new F700U introduces a beautiful OLED panel with a remarkable 100,000 to 1 contrast ratio and true 10-bit color reproduction. These are actually two different approaches rather than one simply replacing the other. If you regularly shoot outdoors in direct sunlight, the higher brightness of the original F700 is definitely an advantage. But if your priority is image quality, accurate color evaluation, deep blacks, and better contrast, then the OLED display on the F700U offers a noticeably more premium viewing experience. One of the biggest advantages of OLED technology is that every individual pixel produces its own light. Unlike a traditional LCD panel, black pixels are completely turned off, producing true blacks instead of dark gray. The result is a much more natural-looking image with outstanding contrast and significantly better shadow detail. This becomes especially useful when shooting in log profiles like Sony S-Log3 or other flat picture profiles. Subtle differences in darker areas remain visible, making it much easier to judge exposure before you even start recording. Once I connected the F700U to my Sony FX30, the first thing I noticed wasn't a specific specification, it was simply how good the image looked. Colors appear richer without looking oversaturated. Highlights are easier to evaluate. Shadow areas have much better separation, and overall, the picture feels much closer to what you'll actually see during editing on a properly calibrated monitor. That's exactly what I expect from an external monitor. It's not just about having a larger screen, it's about giving you more confidence while shooting. A 7-inch display also changes the overall shooting experience. Compared to the built-in camera screen, framing becomes much easier. Checking focus takes less effort, and reviewing recorded clips is far more comfortable. Whether you're filming YouTube videos, product reviews, interviews, or commercial content, having a larger display simply makes the entire production process more enjoyable. Of course, display quality is only part of the story. The F700U also includes a complete set of professional monitoring tools designed for real production work. You get focus, peaking for precise manual focusing, zebra patterns for exposure warnings, false color for fast exposure evaluation, histogram, waveform, vector scope, audio level meters, image flip, anamorphic D-squeeze, HDR monitoring, and support for both built-in and custom 3D LUTs. These aren't just features added to make the specification sheet longer. Every one of them solves a real problem during production. Focus peaking allows you to instantly see exactly what's in focus, which becomes incredibly useful when shooting with fast lenses at wide apertures. Waveform gives you a much more accurate representation of exposure than simply looking at the image with your eyes. False color provides a quick visual guide to exposure across the entire frame, helping you avoid clipped highlights or underexposed shadows. The histogram gives you another fast way to monitor overall brightness before pressing the record button. And if you're working with log footage, loading your own custom LUT makes it much easier to preview what the final graded image will look like while you're still filming. The touchscreen interface is responsive and easy to navigate. Menus are logically organized. Settings are simple to access. And after only a few minutes, everything feels familiar. I hope this video helped you understand the differences and made your buying decision a little easier. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more in-depth camera gear reviews, and let me know down in the comments which monitor you would choose and why. I always enjoy reading your thoughts and experiences. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.